friends. Uncle Marv here, recording another episode of the IT Business Podcast at IT Nation in Orlando. And this episode is presented by our good friends over at Thread. Previous Pitch It winner, folks. And that's why we are here. We're also here just to kind of catch up and chat with industry leaders, vendors, MSPs in the space. And right now I am joined by Mike Psenka, founder and CEO of Moovila. And they were last on just after the new year. And they sent me a whole bunch of swag, and I love it. Although I don't think I got a purple shirt, Mike.
Oh, well, you know what? We're going to have to put that on the list. Make sure you get one.
I got the cup, and I got a whole bunch of other stuff.
Did you get the stuffed cow or the?
I don't remember.
We'll have to make sure you get the latest update.
Okay.
Updates in the swag collection. Yeah.
Now, if I remember correctly, and we're going to go way off course here early, you guys are purple, but your original color was like a blue, but you couldn't get the mug in blue or something like that?
Well, we call it blurple. It's like a blue purple.
Okay.
It's like a blue purple. But, so a lot of the stuff we'll have is really purple. This is not our sort of pure CMS color, right?
Okay.
It's more of like a blue purple, as someone in the office called it. But
yeah, I was trying to remember what happened there, so, but, oh well.
It changes. I think people at the end of the day go purple. It's close enough.
Purple, yeah. All right. So Mike, when did you get in?
So I got in last night.
Okay.
We had a direct flight from Charleston, which was nice. So
South Carolina?
Yeah.
I just talked to somebody from Charleston.
Yeah.
Yeah. MSP does work with CMMC stuff.
Canty.
No.
Talked to Hunter? It wasn't
Bjorn.
Okay.
Group Cyber.
Okay. I don't know that I'm familiar with these folks. Yeah.
I just you never hear Charleston twice in a row.
Within 24 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you didn't get to do any golfing or anything?
No. I was on the phone and working. Like this is a busy time of year. So yeah,
right.
I'll look to maybe do some of the events here, but otherwise I think it's going to be, this is a crazy event. I'm sure you've been coming here for a while.
Yes.
I would assume that you're chock-a-block full of meetings and appointments.
Yeah, I got a lot of podcasts here. Got to do the Pitch It final there. Got to present the steak knives.
Nice.
For, third place and all that.
So what? Anything you're hearing or seeing? I'm curious in this latest iteration. Obviously, things are just firing up. But what are you most excited about seeing coming up in this?
You talking about in spaces in general?
Yes. Yeah, in the space in general. What are you seeing that's?
Well, the funny thing is, we've been on this AI kick. Mm-hmm. And agentic AI and all of that stuff. I think that there's starting to be a little slowdown, a little bit of a reset.
Some fatigue with it.
Well, it's not just fatigue, more of, we rushed to try to sell it. We rushed to try to figure out how to package it. But we have no idea what the outcomes are really supposed to look like. So I think people are starting to step back and say, okay, what is it we're really trying to do?
Yep.
And how do we know when we've done it?
Yep. And is that more for the MSP's own internal use, the partner's internal use, or for their customers' use of it?
I think it's more for the customers. I think most MSPs have resigned themselves to the fact that they're going to use AI that's built into the vendor platforms.
Got it.
So for instance, your product,
right.
I know you've got a little bit of AI in there.
Yeah.
So why am I going to, try to enhance that or do whatever with that? I'm just going to use what you guys have.
Okay. That makes sense.
What are you seeing?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would say, obviously, with the MSPs, they certainly will need AI and automation for margins and efficiency's sake, right? Because that's just going to become more competitive. I think it's going to go from an issue of, hey, it's optional, this is enhanced, to, hey, pricing pressures and market dynamics and changes are going to require the use of that automation in their businesses. I think we're seeing that. And then I think, honestly, as it goes out into the market, I think it's going to be viability of solutions that they can deliver. Are they equipped to deliver AI solutions to their customer? And I think that's one of the things we're hearing from a lot of the partners in the process. We've got some very large, sophisticated customers that are standing up parts of their business and their divisions around that. But, what percentage of the engineers, what percentage of the customers, what percentage of MSPs are equipped to do that? And I think that, to me, is one of the fascinating dynamics that's starting to develop around the space, and kind of what we're hearing as we participate in various peer groups and have those peer group conversations and talking to our own customers. So it's,
all right. Let me ask you another question here, because of course the fear that everybody had was that AI is going to accelerate automation. It's going to replace jobs. And in a lot of respects, MSPs were looking at the idea of, if we were to implement a lot of this, do we need as many techs, as many help desk folks and stuff like that? I know you're on the project side, so that's a little different there, but do you see any correlation with that?
So I think it's too early for us to understand any of that, at least from our customers. We know that you can certainly expand span of control with tech and automation, right? And that preserves margin. I think for a lot of our customers, they've grown their businesses maybe, and I don't think any of them have reduced staff. I think they've just grown their businesses without having to have a linear increase in staff and improve margins. So I think that's been the conversations and the experience we've had. We've not heard anyone go, oh, we were able to get rid of, 6 people because of this or whatever. So have you heard any of that or seen some of that with it?
Well, I did hear one company that got rid of all their level 1 techs.
Oh, really?
But I did not get the opportunity to really push into why.
Why? Okay.
Well, let me rephrase that. I did hear part of a why, but it was because the level 1 techs were having too many reopened tickets.
Okay.
And of course I asked, well, is that something that AI or, your automation took care of? And they said no, but I didn't get to press any further. So that's something I wanted to really.
Okay. Interesting. And how big, do you know how big were they? How many techs did how many level 1 techs?
I think the company's about 20. So I'd say somewhere in the range of 12 to 15.
Total techs,
yeah.
Maybe 4 of them were level 1s, or
probably.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But that's still significant.
Yep.
To do all that.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things, and you look at sort of the dynamics of AI coming into the space, is it certainly can do entry level functions well, atomic tasks well, and so it's going to do that, and it's going to replace a lot of those entry level jobs. But it isn't going to replace, and they're saying it can't really replace the experience jobs, but there's a ladder to get to experience that's going to get kind of broken. Right? So, hey, I'm a level 1, then I'm a level 2. You go through that, but if you go, well, we're just going to get rid of this lower level, AI can do this, you just kind of helped eliminate the progression ladder to experience. So I think that's something that there's going to be real struggle with in the industry, is this idea of competency ladders and that step function. Like, what happens? You get rid of all these entry-level positions that was essentially apprenticeship to become an experienced worker, where AI isn't going to be able to replace it. How does that get fixed? And I've not heard yet someone explain how that's going to get resolved. I think that, when you talk about like hey, this could be like an uncomfortable position that we're going to be in when the experienced people age out, right?
You know what? That's true. I didn't think about that. And I was just in my head remembering when I was looking for techs, and I wanted something more than an entry-level tech.
Right.
And they weren't there. And a lot of the techs were wanting to do the glory jobs and all of that stuff where, you got to do the base level stuff first. And it was tough to find, kind of that tier 2 with experience, because for the last, 10, 15 years with our RMM tools and stuff, we've been kind of trying to automate a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense. All right. So at Moovila, for those that do not know, you guys are pretty much a project helper, I guess.
Project and portfolio resource management.
Okay.
So it's sort of like RMM for projects.
Right.
That's how a lot of our customers describe it, right? So RMM, as you were just talking about, automates the management of endpoints and gives you a bigger span of control, and you wouldn't want to go manually try to track all those endpoints down. Well, same problem exists for project management. Like, every task has a failure rate, just like an endpoint does. And if you're not automatically monitoring that and tracking and updating that living dynamic system, it's just going to blow up on you and cause problems and contaminate the rest of the network, so to speak, i.e. the rest of the plan. And how does that manifest for an MSP? It manifests with being late on projects, having poor resource management, like not having accurate forecasts. Like, it just can do a lot of damage to a business.
I know when we talked last, we had talked about that process and how it works. We talked about, the notifications if the project is off course, or if it's going to be delayed, and how it'll automatically update, the rest of the project and stuff like that.
Good memory.
And I didn't have to go look it up. But I did want to ask, I think you were talking about some updates that were going to be happening. I think I asked you a couple of questions about, what about those of us that don't know where to start with the project.
Yeah. So we're pretty exciting here at IT Nation. We've just announced a new module called Project Hub. So Project Hub, the easiest way to think about it is like it's a template library, a community-based template library. But what it will allow MSPs to do, and we learned about this over the last several years because as we were implementing MSPs, they wanted starter templates. They went, hey, where do we begin? And we had best practice templates, so our operations team implemented those. And then we learned more and more from customers that, hey, that starting point was essential to help them become efficient, to productize their offerings. And so that's now going to become a kind of a product inside of our product. So customers, as they get started, are going to have access to this template library. And some of those templates were contributed by the community, which is really exciting because this is such a community-oriented industry. And so excited about that launch because it will help organizations that start to say, hey, I don't know where to begin. Well, you begin here.
All right.
Here's a framework.
So how vast is that template library going to be? Is it going to be all the basic stuff we were doing, or is this truly projects, network refreshes, CMMC projects, stuff like that?
That's right. It's going to ultimately be all of that. The initial stuff, and there's sort of an initial offering that will go out in the beginning, but we're already having conversations with other vendors who want to put their tech into the platform because they know, hey, customers want to use this, but they just don't have a framework to learn and engage it. They know they need to be doing this, but they don't have the skills. And so because these templates are very content and robust for the training, video, media, content, attachments, all of that exists within it. And it's sort of the step-by-step structured process. The nice thing is it integrates with their PSA. So the tasks that the techs have to do versus the PMs, it's all integrated. So it's, almost, and we always talk about this, you shouldn't just think about work like you should manage it, you should program work. So this is almost like a work program for those features. So we see this, and who knows where it'll go. People may just go, oh, it's great for customer onboarding and it's great for network refreshes and these, but it's limited to that. Or people may go, wow, this is a really good framework for us to learn new services and new service offerings.
Right. Now, let me ask this question. Are you going to have either a tier, or are you going to have the issue of people just joining just to get the templates?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Because in my head, I'm thinking, I don't know if I would use Moovila because I don't do a ton of large projects, but I might like to look at some templates.
Yeah. So we're going to have, so we'll have some. We for sure want to create offerings that address the whole market. Right now, the sweet spot for us is organizations that maybe have some sort of project management function and go up, but we know that there's a lot of need across the industry, and so we're trying into the next year, and this is part of it. Project Hub is one of those things to appeal to a market that says, look, we don't have a lot of big projects, but this is almost like an educational component. Yeah. And we have something else coming out next year that we'll be launching, which is in-app education and guidance and tutorials that will be integrated with Project Hub. So it will be a media-rich, step-by-step, engaged instruction, not only on how to use the tech, but how to execute around those projects and those tools. So, almost like a virtual PM.
I'm going to have to pay attention because, like I said, I'm not a big MSP. I don't do a ton of big projects, but I do have some with certain clients where I do need a place to look and say, hey, is anybody doing something in this? Mine are mainly law firms.
Okay.
So I don't know if you have those templates in there yet, but if you do, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we want to get industry specific because I think that's really, really important.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, whether that's healthcare, whether it's law, manufacturing. We know that MSPs specialize in certain verticals.
Okay. All right, before I let you go here, I need to ask you this question. You guys received the GTIA Innovative Vendor Award.
Yes.
And you were honored on the 2025 CRN AI 100 list.
Yeah, I'm really excited, really proud of the team for that. Yeah. I was so excited for all the efforts that the team put in to make that happen. So,
right. How has the last year been for you guys? Because I'll be honest, I think when I talked, I forget her name.
Kate,
yes. When we were talking, I had mentioned that, I had kind of seen you guys around, but it's almost like you exploded on the scene in 2024. So 2025, in a sense, now is, your sophomore year.
Yes.
How has it been?
It's been great. We've had a great year. We've had a lot of growth. We're really excited about it. And, the partners and they're, once again, I love this industry. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I love the MSP and the MSSP industry. because of the collaboration and the passion to contribute to sort of making things better, whether that's the product, whether that's sharing knowledge and best practice. So that's kind of been that's been great for us to work within that community, right? I've worked in other industries where it's way more close to the vest and it's difficult.
Yeah.
You know, you want to work with them to try to get it improved. And the partner community is just such a great advocate group for around, hey, we're going to tell you exactly what we need to make us more successful, right? To make them more successful. I love that paint by number instruction because that's what we want to do. We're here to serve you guys.
Well, you guys are certainly doing a great job. I'm paying attention. I like the idea of the Project Hub. Very nice. I'm sure others have chimed in and talked about that. And
that was partner-led. I mean, that was partner-driven. Yeah,
nice.
To be clear, that whole thing, that was something that was driven by the customer base going, you should do this. This was helpful. Why aren't you guys doing this for everybody?
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk and they shall listen.
Yes.
So, all right, that's it, folks. Get on board with the blurple. The blurple.
Come down, see the cows. Yeah, walk over. If you see someone in a cow suit.
How big is this cow when you guys were talking about? Is it, like a plush?
It's a small plush cow, but like people are in the big cow onesies, and we've got some.
I'm not doing that. So, don't send me that. All right, Mike, it was good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll swing by the booth. I got to check out your swag.
Yeah,
for this
please.
year.
We'd
see how it is.
You.
All right.
Thanks so much.
All right, folks, that's
day.
going to do it. We'll be back with more from IT Nation in Orlando. Holla.